Hi guys, and welcome back to a very special video once again, filled with teasers, sneak peeks and previews of all the work the RTR Imperium Surrectum team have been doing recently, including the work that is right in front of you already, the brand new prototype map with all of the factions, well, most of the factions added. And once again, to join me here to go through all of this is Ahowl11, the lead mod. Thank you very much for joining me once again.
No problem, man. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so pumped to get this video going and get everybody engaged and up to date as to what's been happening. And this is going to be the first of many videos between you and I that we do up until release. So I'm looking forward to the grind.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, guys, that you can see that the mod team are very committed to keeping you guys really informed at the moment. So if you are interested in keeping informed with all of the updates, we're going to be doing a few of these in the way up to release, and then of course RAS Weekends is coming back. So make sure you do like and subscribe if you are interested in seeing how the mod team get on. And first of all, let's have a look at this map, shall we? Brand new map, prototype map, shall we say, with all of the factions added in. Do you want to go over some of the work that's gone into this, and then sort of the idea behind it? I know we talked about that before as well.
Yeah, so the prototype map again, let me just clarify. Prototype is, we're going to keep saying prototype until it's no longer relevant. The prototype map is a map that's eventually going to be thrown into the recycle bin or the trash bin. Who knows? Maybe it has a soft spot in people's hearts when we release it as its own kind of deal. But as far as I can say right now, the prototype map is not going to be what's officially released when we finally finish. It is basically what we are going to use to stress test, to find bugs, glitches, to test balance, test economy. Does faction A work better than faction B? I don't know. Let's try this one now. So it's basically a testing ground, a boot camp. Um, just a lot of crazy stuff is going to happen on this map, but it's for our gain and our use to then relay information to ourselves and to Jorloff, our main mapper, so that he can officially get, well, officially, that so he can effectively get our official map to the way it really needs to be, so that when you guys finally get a hold of it, you are getting the absolute best experience that we can offer you at that point in time. And we are really excited, and I think this is going to be a good strategy to get us the best result. But yes, as you can see, lots of new factions.
Yeah, lots of new factions, and of course, like we've said before, guys, these aren't going to be like remastered factions. Like in terms of the same as the Greeks and the Anatolians, the Thracians, the Illyrians, that sort of thing. But it's just to populate the map and basically, you know, provide a bit more of a resistance buffer than just fighting loads of rebel settlements all over the time. So if you're playing the Romans, which we'll talk about later in the video, you know, you're going to be fighting factions most of the time rather than having to go through loads of rebel settlements. Same for any faction, really, the Antigonids, Seleucids, whatever faction you want to play. And I think the main thing with this map is that you're looking for people to test it, right?
Yes, so we're gonna be between today, which is Sunday, and Wednesday, when this video comes out. I will be personally recruiting for beta testers. We already have a decent group, but I want as much hands on this beta as possible. We need results. We need good feedback. The only thing I'd ask is like if you're gonna be part of it, don't just come on it so you can get early access and post your campaign of like some faction conquering Greece. Like nobody's gonna really care about that, to be honest with you. Like we're gonna be like, okay, bro, like so what are your thoughts? Like
Yeah.
like cool, but like what happened? We're gonna have like a whole system in place so beta testers can follow. But yeah, we just need a lot of testing because what we want is this time around with the release, instead of getting all the feedback post-release, we like to get a lot of feedback pre-release so that when we do put it out, we're gonna have a lot of new people who've never played RAS or never even played Rome Remastered before, getting this because of Romans and legions, and we want them to have a really good first impression and have a really clean experience. And so we need people who, are used to RAS, who understand it, who have been following it, who've been playing it. We need you guys to sign up. We need you guys to help us out so that when we attract a bunch of new people, like we can give them the best product available.
Yeah, definitely. So, guys, if you are interested in becoming a beta tester, there will be a link to the mod Discord down below where there's a channel on the mod that I believe is called We Are Recruiting. So, check that one out and you can go through all the steps there. If you want to get some early access to the mod to test all the features, not just to get early access, basically. So, do check that out. Now, in terms of the regions, let's go back to the full map. I have just switched across. In terms of the regions, so what region count are we at the moment?
On this screenshot in particular, you're looking at 1,225 regions. However, and I don't know for sure or not because just timing. But between now and Wednesday, I may get it down to less than 1,200. Not by a whole lot, but I need to cut Arabia and Ethiopia a little bit. I haven't done any cuts there yet. Um, and so I need to do those before the beta is put out. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. So I just need to decide. But you're probably looking at between 1,190 to 1,220 total when the beta comes out. But regardless, that's over 600, possibly 650 cuts
Yeah.
from the Imperial campaign that we currently have released right now. It was a lot of work. Um, I've cut this map now twice.
Yeah.
One just on my own intuition, and then this one that you're seeing here on the advice and guidance of all of our historians in each area. So, and there's a third cut being done currently as we speak by Jorloff. So this map is we're like experts at cutting regions for maps now.
Yeah, you've been doing that for a lot. Trust me, guys, when I say it's been a long time. Ahowl has been sat at his computer for many hours. I mean, we speak quite a lot, and every time that we talk to each other, it's like, what have you been up to? And it's like, oh, I've been cutting regions from this area of the map, and that was going on for like 3 weeks or so, I would say at least. So
It,
yeah, a huge
it's a
amount of work has gone into this.
it's a process, man.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
tough. But yeah, I mean, we're excited. There's a lot of good news that comes with those cuts. And that's partly why we're doing this video is to give good news. But at the end of the day, like I'll have to say, like we had to really have tough discussions, and 1,200 to 1,300 is kind of like where we landed on as a team that we felt it was fair. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. We had people that wanted more, we had people that wanted less. I kind of had to cut it right down the middle and propose 1,200, 1,300. Most people could agree to that. So what the official map truly ends up being, we're not sure yet. Maybe it's a little less, maybe it's a little more than 1,200, but we feel like this is kind of like a good stopping point. Like every region, every area has been cut from the map. So there's been at least one region from every area of the map been cut, and we are satisfied with it for a prototype. We are all chomping at the bit to start working on other things other than cutting regions.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, like I say, guys, it is a prototype map, and it's basically just to show you what the map might look like, once everything has been fully finished. And, of course, to show you it with all of the factions on, which I just think looks glorious. And as you play in the campaign, as these rebel areas get filled up, it's going to look more and more glorious every time you play. I've got to say, every turn that you take. One thing I did want to ask you about, though, was, like, as many people will have noticed, hello, the Romans over here. So what is going on with them being, like, sort of split up this way?
So, for those who are unified Roman fans, do not be afraid. It is okay. This is not the end all be all for Italy and the Romans. But for those who enjoy a vanilla Roman setup with the Senate missions and the civil wars and the Julii going north, the Scipii going into Carthage, and the Brutii going into Greece, you can be excited because what we're going to do is we're going to offer multiple Roman playstyle campaigns. And what I mean by that is we will have a unified Rome campaign and we will have a vanilla style, like not so historical, but very nostalgic and fun, to bring back the glory days of, our playing days when we were kids. So we're going to have that style of campaign too. It's going to be really simple, guys. I don't know the details of it yet because I haven't really experimented, but the thought process is this. Um, we know, and those who have played, and Red, you can attest to this, the Romans in the current RES, and honestly, the Romans in all the last versions of RES, have been, to put it nicely, disappointing as far as what we expect Rome to be in a game that's centered around Rome. They tend to be, I guess, pacifists.
Yeah.
They just kind of do their thing, and like, in the RDAI campaign, felt like Red could just kind of have his way with them, and they weren't really doing anything. And there was a failed, not a failed, but a scrapped Taurus challenge campaign
Yeah.
because it went from like, oh, this is gonna be one of the coolest videos ever to, yeah, we're not showing this because the Romans suck. Um, so we're testing what it's like to see, how the four Romans are going to operate like they do in vanilla and see if it gives advantages. And so we're going to make a video that goes deeper into what we do with Rome. But for now, I can just say, do not worry for you Roman fans. There will be two different ways to play as Rome, and there might be a way or two to play as if you're not playing against them and if you want them to be stronger or not as strong. But again, we can get into that into another video once we do more testing.
But yeah, it's just I wanted to address that before you all comment down below saying what the hell is happening in Italy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Those are
no,
just the four. Those are literally just the four Roman factions. You see a yellow, a gray, and like a pinkish. Those are like, those are not Romans.
yeah,
So the red, the blue, the green, and the purple. Those are legitimately like the vanilla Roman colors. The ones around it aren't extra Romans factions. I know there's other mods that have like a bunch more. Um, no, those are just like italic factions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what faction is your favorite? I think I know it's Julii, right?
Yes, it's the Julii, which, by the way, I won't spoil the names, but we will not be going with the Julii, Scipii, and Brutii. We actually have a little bit more accurate um, family names or genus. I don't know what they were, but the 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 big time families of the day that maybe progressed into Julius Caesar and whatnot. Like we're representing the families a little bit more accurately to
Yeah.
role play a little bit better. So it'll be fun for those players who want that old school campaign, like me. It's going to be a lot of. It's going to be a way to make it a little bit more immersive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my favorite is basically Heresy. It's the Scipii. I know I'm strange, because everyone else's is the Julii, but for some reason I just love the Scipii. But oh well.
Is there any Broody Eye fans out there? I'd like to know because I don't know.
Nah,
Maybe it was green.
no one likes
Um,
the snooty brutey eye.
yeah.
No, I'm joking. I said a joke about that in one video one time, and loads of people commented saying, actually, the Brutii is the best faction because you get to invade Greece, and it's just like, yeah. But their intro's the worst, so that
Yeah.
makes them the worst in my mind, anyway. But yeah, no, cool. That is fantastic. That is really interesting, and it's a nice little sneak peek for you guys as well. And with this map, obviously the main aim was to remove any, crashes, all that sort of thing, the end turn times and the save corruption. So how is that testing going at the moment?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's actually been a really good thing, man. Like we're excited. So I like to say I have a mid-tier PC. My PC is about 4 years old. I believe I have like an RTX 2060 graphics card. I have like an AMD processor. I believe it's AMD 3600. I'm not good with all the specs when it comes to um, PCs, but I do know that I only have 16 gigabytes of RAM. And so with a kind of a lower mid-tier PC, I get intern times probably between like a minute and a minute 10 seconds. But some of the people on my team, they actually are getting like 40-second turn
Yeah.
times. Like people that have like the upper echelon, newer PCs, which I actually will look to invest in hopefully within the next calendar year. We'll see. But all I can say is like I can run the game on my PC, and it's a little slow because of so many factions and whatnot. But honestly, it's not unplayable for me. And I'm a guy that doesn't like super long turn times. I'm a guy that wants a really clean performance and a clean gameplay, and you can ask all the people on the development team. I was driving people crazy when it came to like we have to make everything optimized for good gameplay, even for like a potato PC.
Yeah.
And I think we've pretty much done that. There's probably going to be a few people with like ancient or really cheap PCs out there that they need to try playing it, and it may not be that great. Um, we are actually, and to kind of help those people, we are going to put out like an RIS Classic campaign where it's going to be like 300 regions on a small map. We'll, but we haven't worked on that in months, and so I don't really want to touch base on that too much until I've actually put my hands on it again and we can make a video on it. But 40 minutes to about, I'd say maybe a minute and a half on turn times. And honestly, what I've found is with all these factions on the map with the cut regions, it's almost equal to a lot of people's in turn times currently
Yeah.
on the current release, where we have 1800 regions with only the current factions that we have. So I don't feel like we've gained we haven't lost on in turn times. We've kind of drawn even. So I
Mm.
count that as a win if we're putting way more content and we're not losing. And it's because we took out so many regions. Regions are the main contributor to why in turn times take so long. Um, you have to process, the game has to process buildings and recruitment in every single city.
Yeah.
And that's what processes so long. So like the Seleucids and the Ptolemies take the longest because there's so many cities. But you start cutting cities down universally, the in turn times are also going to come down universally. That's kind of one of the things we learned in testing, and that's another reason that gave us the green light to go ahead and cut regions. So because of that, I can safely say with the intern times, it's going to be like a pretty good 40 seconds to a minute and a half. Maybe if you have like a super duper PC, maybe it's only 30 seconds. Good for you. You spend a ton of money. I can't do that. Um, and then for save corruptions, this is the biggest news because this is what was plaguing most people. I think most people are okay if the intern times are a little bit longer, right? People
Yeah.
love the depth, the immersiveness. If it's a long intern time, they read books, they get on their phones, they watch videos, they do other things. Okay, so their whole problem was, oh, I can't get past X amount of turns, and then I save the game, and when I come back in, it won't load. So to those folks, I can confidently say that we have just run a test of 1,100 plus turns, saved every 25 turns, and loaded, and no crashes, no corruptions. Um,
Nice.
it was a sigh of relief. It was just a testament to all the work we've done to cleaning. I want to shout out Syrianus Dagovax. He has this amazing campaign map tool from the community that I was really using, and I was messaging him. I was bothering him. There was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. I probably looked like an idiot, but he helped me. And our own mapper Jorloff, other people from the community. I mean, we cleaned this like we were OCD. I
Yeah.
mean, it got cleaned. Bugs, glitches, even just inconsistencies, even things that maybe don't crash the game, but hey, this isn't the format it should be in. And even though the game works, let's not mess around. Let's clean it up anyway. And I think when we saw 1,100 plus turns, no crashes, no save corruptions, I could sit back in my seat and be like, oh, the work we've done is justified.
Yeah.
So, not over. We still have a lot of work to do. And it's easy to destroy a mod by not paying attention to your work. So it's just imperative that we as devs are very diligent with checking our work and making sure we're testing and making sure that we're fixing things as they appear. So that when you guys get this on the official map, you guys can also experience over 1,000 turns without having save corruption. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like, great news for a lot of people, especially everyone out there who wants to do a world conquest, because there are some of you, like sadomasochists out there, who want to do a world conquest on a map this big. I'm not one of them, but some of you out there really do enjoy that, and you can be going for a long time on this map now, rather than reaching the corruption. And while we're here, I just wanted to say before I forget, extra points for anyone who guesses what those two little factions up in the corner are.
Yeah.
I actually don't know, so it's going to be interesting reading the answers.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see that because even a lot of developers are like, no clue what those are. It's like, I'll just say, and anybody who pays attention can guess, there's only one developer who really knows anything about those two factions. Um, I won't say who. Um, and then that big white splotch with the Himalayas, that's not snow. For anybody wondering, that's not snow. That's not a new faction. That is the dummies.
Okay.
The dummies have the Himalayan region. Um, I am doing some testing. Those islands in the corner could have been causing problems. I am not sure. Still something I'm looking into and discussing. But for right now, just wanted to play it safe. Gave dummies the Himalayas so we can still do AI testing. But those little islands in the corner have been emptied.
Cool. And how many factions is on this map at the moment?
Oh,
Roughly. You don't. It doesn't need to be exact.
I want to say so we have 228 factions total coded into the game. So the game limit before things get really weird, and I say like weird, like it basically makes the game unplayable, is 255. So
Yeah.
we can't go above 255 factions. Currently, we're at 228 coded in. A lot of those, I think about 34 of those are emergents. So if we
Yeah.
do the math, I'm not, this is not 100% accurate, I don't believe, but I want to say there's 194 factions on the map.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to accurate. Now, obviously, if you're going to do the unified Roman campaign, you can take three of those factions out. Um, and, look, we still have 30, around 30 to 35 factions to figure out.
Axum.
Yeah, you know what? You're gonna have to get like special permission from Masalos on that one because dude, I have been lobbying for you, and it's been just like a hard no. So we will try. I will
What's
try.
wrong
We
with
will
Axum, bro?
try. Apparently, they didn't exist until the first century AD. So because of that,
We got the
um,
Daysitiates in here. They're famous for something in 9 AD.
no, I know. Trust me, it's welcome to my life. Um, We will see.
No, I'm
I'll
joking.
try to get some kind of thing going down there just so you could maybe simulate an Axum or like the rise of Axum, maybe. I don't know. Anybody that's fans of that area, do not expect anything. It's gonna have to be justified somehow, some way. Um, but what I was gonna say is like, have you noticed here we don't have like any of our Greeks, Anatolians, Thracians, and
Yeah.
Illyrians on the map. We're just kind of like going back and forth about like, do we want them? And if we do, how do we want to use them? And if we don't, what do we want to do instead? So it's kind of like we have like this big dilemma currently with the devs. It's like, do we want to do CGs? Do we want to do factions? Do we want to do rebels? So we're just going to be testing a lot of stuff. This is the first prototype. I decided to take the CGs out, allow us time to discuss, see what happened with rebels. So we'll figure out that as time goes, but it just gives us flexibility because we have, like I said, about 30 to 35 faction slots that are empty right now that are
Yeah.
not being used. And then we also have factions on this map who, let's be honest, some of these factions may not exist in the future. They may not like Trapezus. Like who plays as Trapezus? I don't know. Um,
You would love to play as Trapezus.
I haven't. So it's like we need to be diligent. We need to be smart. We need time
Yeah.
to go by. But all I can say, and I'm not saying trapezus is being taken out. I'm just using it as an example because it get tossed around a lot. But yeah, nothing's set in stone. Nothing's final. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. We have a little client state mechanic that we're working with too. As you can see, if you zoom into Greece, you can see you have Argos and Megalopolis in Greece right now. Um, where those are that's going to be like a tested protectorate system from the beginning of
Mm.
the game. So if you're to play as Antigonids, you start with two protectorates. If you play as Argos or Megalopolis, the Antigonids are your protectorate, and then like the Lyciids there, right in the middle of the Seleucids in Anatolia, that kind of orange blob below Bithynia, they're a protectorate. And then if you go down into like Phoenicia, you see like a blue faction and a purple faction. We're not going to give away names, but then you have like this purple faction in the Persian Gulf. You have the brown faction. Anybody who knows about history can guess who that is. Um, we have some protectorates, and we're going to test it out. Pergamon and Bactria were technically client states or protectorate states of the Seleucids.
Yeah.
How does that work? Will they break away? Will they just be stagnant? We don't know. So we're literally going to use this prototype to see what works good, what works bad, so that we can stop speculating and discussing and just start implementing the good stuff and stripping away the bad stuff so that when you guys get a hold of 070, you guys are getting an amazing experience.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great. And some very, very interesting tidbits for all of you that have managed to make it this far in the video as well. Some really cool stuff that's been working on. And like, I know we can't show everything off to you guys right now, but the main thing is the fact that it's testing, it's seeing what works, what doesn't work. We can't be concrete and say, well, those factions are definitely going to be in and they're definitely going to be client states and this is how it's going to work, because simply at this point we don't really know yet. So there's a lot of really amazing stuff that's going on this map. But yeah, it's all being tested, it's all being worked on constantly. So yeah, it's really cool. And I think it's just amazing to see this map with all the factions on there rather than just massive areas of rebels like the previous version. I just think that's really cool. And like I say, every turn that you play, it's going to get more and more colourful, which will be fantastic to see. But is there anything else you want to say on the map, Ahowl, or shall we move on to maybe a couple of extra special sneak peeks?
The last thing I want to say about the map is to expect maybe some things that are maybe unexpected. We have a lot of things to test. I have a lot of ideas right now. Every day I wake up thinking about all kinds of stuff, and I've been harassing a lot of our teammates about like, what about this? Let's do this. Oh, what if we did this? And like literally people on the team have been like, I'm exhausted, we're exhausted, we can't be talking about this so much. Like, let's give it a break, let's give it a rest. And I think you know, because of that, multiple things will be tried. I'm going to personally just try all kinds of little stuff. There's going to be some really wacky tests that I do myself, and we'll see what comes of it. But if it improves performance, if it improves immersion, if it just really adds something cool, we'll definitely be previewing it eventually. That's like all I'll say about the map. It's far from finished. There's so many tests to do, but we are just so excited to show off what we currently have.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like I say, I think it looks fantastic with all the colours, and I can't wait to play it when it's done, basically. Which I'm sure all of you out there are the same. So fantastic. Shall we then move on to sort of one little sneak peek of something? We're not going to go over this in detail, guys, but some of the new mechanics, and let's talk about governments and how, like, briefly, what's coming with the next patch, basically.
So with governments, I'll be honest, we actually worked on this months ago before we started cutting regions and whatnot. I think probably the spring or early summer. Um, and we've decided that like we still didn't get like a really good test out of it. So we decided that we're gonna keep it for now and see what happens. Um, those who have played Europa Barbarorum
Yeah.
are going to be probably the most familiar with this. We feel like after a lot of research and discussion that Europa Barbarorum probably did the best out of most mods when it came to choosing between like how you govern your region. Like whether it be a homeland, whether it be an allied state, or whether it be like a colonized state. Like as Red's going through these buildings that he's flashing across the screen, we have multiple ways that you can govern a region. Some are going to have pros and cons. Some are going to be better for some regions, worse for others. And each will kind of offer different types of recruitment. Like you're going to get like some mixed recruitment in some areas. You'll get like heavy AOR if you do a building, and then you'll get like heavy factional. And so like what it does is like for instance, factional is going to be expensive and long to build, but it gives you your factional.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, you're going to start in your homeland. You're going to start with those pre-built. So your best units, or at least your factional units, will be available to you from the get-go. Whereas like your outlying areas are going to have like more like allied states, dependencies, colonies, and whatnot. So what it does is it allows you to be in full control. So maybe you conquer a faraway land and you need to govern them. You build the AOR building, which I believe is what we're looking at right now, dependency.
Yeah.
It's like a turn to build and it's cheap. But do you see any recruitment there? No. So sometimes it's like, look, I just need like a local governor to govern this town in the middle of the desert like we have here. I
Mm.
really never going to recruit from it, but we need the people happy. And there you go. Like you can see a description there. It's very basic right now. We have not touched this in months, but we do want to test it because we'll probably get back to it. And like we've had ideas where these government buildings can be attached to different building trees. So like it may be more than just recruitment. It may be like based on what government you choose will determine what kind of civic, economic, and defense buildings that you could get to build. Because the more control you have over it, the more pissed off people are going to be, but you're going to be able to build more. Whereas the less control you have over it, you're going to be happy people, but you're not going to be able to do much with it because it's kind of their city at that point. So we're bouncing it around. We're going to see how it goes. It was kind of a forgotten feature because we've been so focused on the map, but we kind of like, we're like, yeah, like we need to keep this and we need to see how it goes. With that, guys, we also have a little bit of like a mercenary system. I completely forgot about that just until like recently. So every region should have mercenaries in them. And then there's like some special regions for factional, like we call them factional mercenaries. So like, let's say you're the Seleucids, and your general pops outside of Sardis. He's going to have mercenaries available to him that no other faction would be able to have. So we're experimenting with that as well, and see how that goes. So all of these will have their own RAS videos during RAS weekends, of course, but these are just things that are going to be in the first beta. And I really do think, like our last recruitment system kind of flopped. Just kind of watching Red and his Ardursian campaign and like how much work he has to do just to get recruitment, how much work it takes to build the settlements up, and then you have to get the recruitment building, and then you have to get the
Yeah.
stables and barracks. As you can see here, there are no more stables and barracks. Um, and these government buildings are not turns on turns on turns to build. So things can be a little bit more quicker paced, and you can get your access to units better. So that's kind of what I'd have to say on that.
Yeah, and obviously, guys, like before you comment down below saying that like these bonuses don't make sense or whatever, it's all work in progress, like everything we've shown
Yeah,
here as
we
well.
have so much balance to do. That a lot of those percentages are based on an 1800 map, 1800 region map, and now we have a 1200 region map. And like you see episodes right here, it's at 50% happiness. Stuff like that is gonna get ironed out, guys. Like don't freak out. Don't be like, oh my god, they're negative
Yeah.
1% growth. Like, ooh. Just it's all good. Um, and then the last thing is you see at the there, you see that scroll building number one at
Yeah.
the that's a region building that we're going to experiment, region information. You go ahead and look at that description real quick.
Yeah.
So that description is basically, again, we're trying our best to be informative and intuitive with everything, and that kind of gives you an idea of what can be recruited locally.
Yeah.
So we're going to be playing around with a lot of stuff, a lot of mechanics. Some regions are going to have some code into the region building that help. Some will hurt. Some will do a mix. What it's going to do is it's going to offer a different experience per region. I think one of the main issues with RAS copy paste feel of all the regions, and we're going to do everything we can to change that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I think anyone who's played EB will be extremely excited about this because it works incredibly well in EB, in my opinion, anyway. I'm sure there's people out there that don't like it, but I think it's a fantastic feature of EB. And honestly, to be fair, probably one of the most memorable features of EB as well. So yeah, I think this will work very, very well in a mod with so many settlements as well. I think it's going to be very good. Well, we'll have to wait and see on it though. And of course, along with that, there is going to be a new economy system as well. Now, we're not going to go into detail on that, but if you want to just maybe explain a little bit more about the new economy system.
Yeah, so we're not there yet with it. That'll probably be the second beta after this one, which, who knows when that's going to be. We're going to try to shoot for like a month between betas, just so we can get good feedback. But as you can see on Red's screen, this is taken from our dev forum. And what it is you see the two underlined ones. I think he was talking about something in particular, but you can see a bunch of different economic buildings here. They're all like different types of farms, but like each of these farms are specializing in something different. So I'm not going to get into details again, but we're going to have a lot of we're going to do a lot of updates to the current resources, and we're actually adding a lot of new resources. So if you guys like, Medieval 2 Total War, there's going to be some resources pulled from Medieval 2 Total War. Um, and then there's some others that like were current in the ancient world that we don't have. We're going to include those too. And with those, they're going to have, at least this is the goal. Testing is going to really determine if it's going to be working or not. We want to have different economic chains for our resources. So let's say hides, right? So maybe if you have hides, you build a hide trader and you can upgrade that trader as the settlement develops. But, you're not going to be able to have a glass maker or a
Yeah,
textile producer if those are also. So it's like it's going to do it. It's going to give you the power of choice so you can develop your regions better. And it's not like Rome 2 where it's like you can only this city of this province is only used for fishing. It's like no, like you can choose to do fishing if you want, but you can also choose to do and you can develop your settlement the way you want. Uh, Certain settlements are going to be easier to grow, other settlements grow. So there will be that, but it's not going to be like Rome 2, where every settlement is kind of put in this box,
yeah,
and that's kind of like what you get. And yeah, we're not going to do that. It's kind of like an in between Rome 2 and Rome. Because at the same time, we don't want like poor Red. Like, I mean, I know you enjoy it, but I mean, you're basically building the Temple of Dionysus in every single city you conquer, and it's kind of like
yeah,
the choices are either not good enough or it's kind of a copy paste game. It's like conquer settlement, build these buildings, conquer settlement, build these buildings, and it's like what is Matutinopolis? What makes it different than Coralopolis? Nothing. So
yeah,
it's like we've kind of realized like not only do we need to cut the amount of regions, we need to make the regions that we keep different enough from each other to give every player a good experience as they go through the map and keep the retainment longer. Like not be so boring where you quit after 50 turns. You want to keep going. You want to keep developing. You have goals that you're working toward. This is the base work for
yeah,
building more intuitive mechanics in the future that really like draw your attention and keep you playing in these campaigns, and kind of go against the mold of a typical Total War game where it's like you start with nothing, you build, you conquer, and then you realize that you're the strongest on the map and there's no reason to play anymore. we don't want that for the player. We want you to be engaged for a very long time. We want you to experience an early game, a mid game, and a late game. So having a very diverse building selection is one of the things that we've decided to focus on for 070 to help with that.
Yeah, cool. And that does excite me very much as a as a campaign management stan. So yeah, very excited for this feature, to be honest. I hope this like allows me to have more choices, which I think it will do. You know, building in every city, especially the smaller places like towns and large towns. So yeah, very excited for this. And obviously, guys, along with all of this new stuff, we've got one more. We've got one more sneak peek for you as well, and that is obviously there's going to be a load more units. And I just wanted to show off one of the sneak preview units. These are the Greek officers. This is one of them, of course. There's going to be many different Greek officers. But yeah, of course, there's going to be loads more units on the new patch as well.
So yeah, thanks for Balbor, man. Balbor has
Yeah.
really done an amazing job. Um, like I think I said this before, but certain factions are going to have completely remastered units. You're going to have Pontus and Cappadocia that offer a very similar roster. You're going to have Paphlagonians. Can't wait to see the new and improved Paphlagonian campaign. Um, you're going to have the Silesians, which I hope you do another Silesian challenge because you actually have a unique unit roster to work with now. And then you have the Bosporan Kingdom. Those are basically the finishing touches on all of our Greek and Anatolian work. With obviously the Bosporans are going to get a couple Scythian units, so that's cool. And then to really round out the Greeks, Balbor is doing all the family members, captains, officers, standard bearers, and even like musicians, like flutists.
Mm.
So you're gonna get the whole array of the Greek and Hellenistic military in the battle. You're not gonna get like the beautifully designed RAS unit in the old weird face cringe looking guys from like 2006.
That guy's face is weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's. I remember there was a video you did where it was like you were trying to take this town square, and like it was just like this standard bearer or this officer, and he's just walking by himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It wasn't remastered. It was just like this RS2 guy with like a frown on his face. Um, yeah,
He's
no more of those guys.
he's got such a flat face as well. Like it doesn't look like his face is 3D. It just looks like flat.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Those guys are going to be gone, a thing of the past. We're done with the holdovers. We really want to move on, and so we have to do the Greek officers, not just the Greek officers, Thracians, Illyrians, Anatolians. They're all going to be done. That's our promise to you. And because, everybody knows what's next. So we
Yeah.
got to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted because we all know what comes next.
Yeah. And should we just briefly mention that then to preempt the preempt the comments? You know, Romans question mark.
Yes, Romans win. Update Romans win. Is the Roman update ready yet? When are the Romans going to be out? Yeah, I mean, I cannot answer any of that. All I can say is yes, Romans will be in this release. Whenever that happens, it'll be Romans will be there. Um, I can say that you and I have had some really good discussions as far as how we want to preview the Romans.
Yep.
As far as work being done on the Romans, we're not there yet, so they are not even being worked on right now. Said Balbor is currently working on Greek officers, but all the research has pretty much been done. We just need to organize our notes and organize our method of working. And what you guys can expect from Red and I, or at least Red, maybe not me all the time, but Red, is some really awesome new videos and playlists that I won't talk much about. I can allow you to do it. All I can say is with the Romans there will be plenty of Red Zed content coming at you guys.
Yes. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'm just gonna say yes.
Yeah.
We will get
With
there when we get there.
Dude, there's something that Red and I started a long time ago that we haven't been able to finish. But with all the units being done and all the officers being done, Red Zedian content coming your way. Think think dramatic music in the back, narration. There's gonna be some amazing stuff being done with the Greeks too to really polish, put a cherry on top of
Yes.
seemingly that forever project of Greek units and
I mean, the Greeks were important, so especially at this time, 300 BC. So, oh wait, it's 270 that the mod starts, isn't it? So,
yeah.
270. Yeah, the Greeks were pretty important at that time. So, yeah, no, but there will be a lot of stuff coming your way, guys. Anyway, we will. You'll see it on the channel at some point, whether that's in 6 months or 3 months or a year. We don't know yet, but it will be on the channel at some point.
We have no idea. But yeah, we our guarantee and promise is that we will be getting stuff out to you guys.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I think that's everything to cover for today. Is there anything else you want to mention, Ahowl, or?
I would just say stay tuned, and if you've been a loyal follower and you play it regularly, or you enjoy it very much, or you're excited for it, and how you can help. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a good artist. All we need is effective feedback by you playing the game and giving us feedback based on the systems that we've created for our beta testers. Telling you like the more we can test our factions, the more we can get our balance done correctly, the more we can um, see what AI personalities work on the map and how diplomacy works and this and that. So many things. Um, and the more we can fix any remaining bugs or glitches or CTDs, the better experience for everybody when we release the Roman release in 070. Like, and we don't know when that's going to be, but the more people we have helping test and give feedback, the more we can fix and implement, and the quicker we can finish.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. So make sure you do check that out, guys, if you are interested in becoming a beta tester. And me and Ahowl are going to be doing one of these update videos about once a month. So this is the December one. So you should get one in January as well after Christmas. Just to keep you guys updated, we'll try and bring sneak previews into all of them as well. Things that have been worked on by the team, what's going on. So I hope you have enjoyed. Please do comment down below, you know, any questions, any comments, all that sort of thing. And make sure you do like and subscribe because, like I say, we're going to be doing this every month and bringing you all the updates. And then when we get closer to release, of course, we'll do a brand new RAS weekends, which will be very fun indeed. So thank you very much for watching, and thanks to Ahowl once again.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, and looking forward to it. And I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, brilliant. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. So goodbye.